With singles such as God's Country and Austin, Blake Shelton, the country music icon who is now at the top of the charts and is recognized for his soulful voice, witty charm, and long-standing role as a coach on The Voice, has won the hearts of millions of people. If, however, the Oklahoma native had not achieved stardom in Nashville, what would happen? Shelton disclosed in a recent interview that he will most likely be working a completely different profession, one that is very devoid of the glitz and glamour that is associated with the music industry. In spite of the fact that he did not designate a particular career path, his rural upbringing, his passion for the outdoors, and his straightforward nature all provide hints about what he might have been doing on the job. Let's investigate what Blake Shelton's life may be like if he weren't a country music superstar by delving into an alternative professional path that is both imaginative and practical, and that is in line with his interests and his history, a way of life that is embedded in it. Shelton was born and raised in Ada, Oklahoma, and from a young age, he was surrounded by expansive open spaces, values that are typical of small towns, and a profound connection to the natural world. His passion for hunting, fishing, and living a country lifestyle is well known. Shelton frequently recounts tales of his exploits on his ranch in Oklahoma, which is the place where he feels the most comfortably at home. There is a strong possibility that Shelton would have pursued a job that was connected to the land, possibly as a farmer or rancher, if music hadn't begun calling to him. To Shelton's hands-on, practical temperament, farming would be an ideal occupation. During interviews, he has described himself as someone who takes pleasure in persevering through difficult tasks and is not afraid to get his hands filthy. Running a farm or ranch would provide him the opportunity to keep close to his roots by allowing him to manage crops such as wheat or soybeans, which are common in Oklahoma, or by growing cattle, which is a tribute to the rich ranching culture that exists in the state. When you think about Shelton, you might picture him operating a tractor in the scorching heat of Oklahoma, monitoring his herd, or negotiating grain prices at the neighborhood co-op. His work ethic, which he had refined over the course of many years of performing and creating a career in music, would translate perfectly into the long hours and unanticipated challenges that characterize a life in agriculture. As a result of his charm and his talent for telling stories, which shine through in his songs and television appearances, Shelton would also be a natural leader in a community that is located in the countryside. It is possible that he will serve on the local farm bureau, where he will advocate for the interests of farmers, or that he could arrange community events such as fishing contests or barbecues. He would become a local legend of a different kind thanks to his larger-than-life personality, which would attract people in the same way that it does whenever he is performing on stage, a protectionist for wildlife or an outdoor guide. A different course of action that Shelton could have pursued is one that is connected to his enthusiasm for fishing and hunting. Irrespective of whether he is pursuing deer or throwing a line in a tranquil stream, he is a passionate outdoorsman who frequently shares online his exploits on various social media platforms. This passion could have been channeled into a profession as a wildlife advocate, conservationist, or even a hunting and fishing guide if Shelton had not been successful in the music industry. Shelton, in his capacity as an advocate for wildlife, has the opportunity to collaborate with organizations such as the National Wildlife Federation or state-level conservation groups in order to safeguard the natural environments of Oklahoma. Even in the absence of fame, his platform would consist of his capacity to engage with individuals, including farmers, hunters, and policymakers, in order to advocate for environmentally responsible behaviors. In order to combine his passion for the outdoors with his desire to give back, he might take the initiative to either educate new hunters on ethical hunting techniques or lead projects to protect wetland areas. An alternative course of action would have been for Shelton to pursue a career as a professional guide, leading fishing or hunting excursions in the vast wilderness of Oklahoma. Whether you were spending the day at the lake or spending the weekend in the woods, he would be the ideal companion because of his laid-back sense of humor and his ability to put people at ease. The customers would come for the experience, but they would remain for the stories, as Shelton would regale them with anecdotes of his own success, replete with a rustic lodge where visitors might unwind after spending the day in the great outdoors and share stories over a campfire. A business owner from a small town. Shelton's entrepreneurial energy, which is obvious in his initiatives such as Old Red, a series of restaurants and music venues, implies that he could have been successful as a company owner in a small town. If he hadn't pursued a career in music, he might have started a tavern, a general store, or perhaps a feed and seed shop in Ada during his time there. Considering Shelton's passion for having a good time and his ability to make others feel welcome, it seems like a bar would be an especially appropriate venue for him. Imagine a warm and inviting bar with wood paneling that is known as Shelton's Place. It is a place where locals congregate to enjoy cold drinks, live sports on television, and the odd impromptu jam session that Blake himself leads on an old guitar. Shelton's ability to interact with his community and demonstrate his leadership qualities would be enhanced if he were to run a business. He would be familiar with each and every regular. He would make jokes with truck drivers who were going by, and he might even serve as a sponsor for the local Little League team. Through activities such as quiz nights, karaoke, and fundraising events for local organizations, his pub has the potential to become a focal point for Ada's social life. Because of Shelton's charisma and quick wit, people would continue to patronize his shop, which would eventually become an important part of the community, a profession in the field of broadcasting. Over the course of his time on The Voice, Shelton has demonstrated that he is a natural in front of the camera, possessing a quick sense of humor and the ability to connect with spectators. In the event that his career in music had not been successful, he might have pursued a career in broadcasting, either as a radio DJ or a local television personality. Shelton most certainly listened to country radio stations while he was growing up in a small town, and the stations played tunes by country music luminaries such as George Strait and Merle Haggard. There was a possibility that he might have been hired by a local station to broadcast a morning program that would have included music, banter, and updates on the neighborhood. Both Shelton's deep voice and his playful demeanor would make him a hit among his audience if he were to work as a DJ. If he continued to dabble in music on the side, he would perform a couple of his own songs, tell jokes about the weather, and share stories about life in Ada. He would also offer jokes about the weather. Through the combination of country music and useful information for farmers and ranchers, such as weather predictions and market updates, his show has the potential to become an indispensable resource for commuters in Oklahoma. Another possibility is that he may present a local television segment, perhaps a show on hunting and fishing, in which he would highlight the natural beauty of Oklahoma while also doing interviews with locals. Holding fast to his own identity, there is one thing that is certain. Blake Shelton will always stay true to his roots, regardless of the career he pursues. Any course of action he decided to take would be influenced by his affection for Oklahoma, his family, and his easygoing way of life. When Shelton was working in any capacity, whether it was tilling fields, guiding hunters, serving beverages, or spinning records, his genuineness and sense of humor were always evident. He would be the kind of person who knows each and everyone in the community, who would stop to assist a neighbor nominations in this other universe. He would still have a significant influence on the people who are in his immediate vicinity. His life would be simplified and quieter, but it would not be any less satisfying. He would be successful in any industry if he possessed the same attributes that made him a popular country star, such as his work ethic, charisma, and appreciation for the simple things in life. And you never know. Perhaps he would still pick up a guitar every once in a while, and while he was with his friends at a bonfire, he would play a few notes, hinting to the fact that he could have been a celebrity. A portrayal of what could have been in the past. Blake Shelton's admission that he would be working in a very different field if he did not have a career in music piques the interest of the audience. His rural origins and the things that he is passionate about hint to a life that is rooted in the land, the community, and the outdoors, despite the fact that he is a natural entertainer. Shelton would bring the same sense of humor and passion to his employment as he does to his music, whether he were a farmer, an advocate for wildlife, an entrepreneur in a small town, or a broadcaster. There is a possibility that he would not be a well-known figure in this other world, yet he would still be a legend in his own right, serving as evidence that certain individuals are destined to shine no matter where their lives take them.